Picture this. It's a cozy evening, raindrops tapping on your window pane like a clandestine jazz beat. You settle into your favorite armchair, popcorn at the ready, your anticipation simmering like a fine French wine. The flickering light of your old TV dances across the room, casting a warm glow as the opening credits of Paris When It Sizzles unfurl on the screen. Ah, your first encounter with this cinematic gem, a moment etched into your memory like a secret rendezvous in the city of love. In the dimly lit room, as Audrey Hepburn and William Holden weave their magic through the story, you can't help but be drawn into the world of screenwriter Richard Benson and his beguiling secretary, Gabrielle. The palpable chemistry, the clever banter, and the enchanting backdrop of Paris in all its splendor, it's a memory you cherish, a cinematic reverie that lingers in your heart. But there's more to Paris When It Sizzles than meets the eye. As we delve into the depths of this timeless classic, let's uncover some random facts that will ignite your curiosity and make you fall in love with this movie all over again. After all, there's a lot simmering beneath the surface of this film, much like the enchanting Paris it portrays. So, without further ado, let's embark on this journey through the hidden treasures of Paris When It Sizzles. You're about to unearth tidbits that will add an extra layer of fascination to your cinematic memories of this beloved classic. Get ready for some surprising revelations, my fellow film enthusiast, as we step into the allure of 1964 seconds Paris When It Sizzles. In the 1964 movie Paris When It Sizzles, Audrey Hepburn and William Holden shared the screen, creating a dynamic that extended beyond their roles. At one point in the film, Hepburn and Holden drew a cinematic connection, comparing Frankenstein to My Fair Lady. Notably, Audrey Hepburn would soon become the star of My Fair Lady, released the same year as Paris When It Sizzles. This subtle nod showcased the serendipity of Hollywood, where actors' careers often intertwine in unexpected ways. Paris When It Sizzles wasn't the only film with a reference to My Fair Lady in Audrey Hepburn's career. Her film Charade in 1963 also contained a nod to the iconic musical. These connections highlight the interconnectedness of the film industry, where references and foreshadowing can be found within the works of its stars. Interestingly, the Dracula sequence in Paris When It Sizzles was the last one to be completed for the film. This sequence had to be shortened due to an unexpected incident involving William Holden. He had smashed his new Ferrari into a wall, resulting in an injury that required him to wear a splint. This unexpected turn of events added an element of drama both on and off the screen, showing that making movies is not always as glamorous as it may seem. Audrey Hepburn's son, Sean Hepburn Ferrer, revealed in his memoir that Paris When It Sizzles was his mother's least favorite among the films she made during her years as a star. Despite Hepburn's personal enjoyment during its production, Ferrer stated that it taught her a valuable lesson. Just because a film is easy to make doesn't guarantee its quality. In conclusion, Paris When It Sizzles is not just a film but a tapestry of connections and anecdotes that give us a glimpse into the world of Hollywood. From the subtle references between films to the unexpected challenges faced during its production, this 1964 classic holds more than meets the eye. Paris When It Sizzles, a 1964 film, holds an interesting production history. Although it was released in 1964, the filming was completed in 1962. This means there was a 2-year gap between the end of filming and its release. Audrey Hepburn, the film's star, had a tight schedule as she began shooting her next film, Charade, in November 1962, just 2 days after the production wrapped up for Paris When It Sizzles. The film also saw a last-minute addition to its cast, Tony Curtis. His inclusion in the film was apparently as unexpected as his character's sudden appearance in the screenplay. This choice added an interesting twist to the movie's production. In summary, Paris When It Sizzles may have simmered in the can for 2 years before being served to audiences, but its behind-the-scenes details, including the late addition of Tony Curtis, offer a glimpse into the unpredictable nature of filmmaking. In the 1964 movie Paris When It Sizzles, there was an interesting twist during production. The weather in Paris was so bad that the cast and crew started jokingly calling the film Paris When It Drizzles. The persistent rain and unfavorable weather conditions made filming challenging. Unfortunately, I couldn't find enough information to write a detailed article about the other topics you mentioned. Therefore, I'm sharing this tidbit about the film's production. If you have any other questions or need further information, feel free to ask. In the 1964 movie Paris, When It Sizzles, an interesting tidbit from its production is that the weather proved to be quite a challenge. In fact, the cast and crew experienced such bad weather conditions that they humorously started referring to the film as Paris, When It Drizzles. This quirky nickname reflects the unexpected challenges that can arise during the making of a movie, even in glamorous locations like Paris. The film, directed by Richard Quine and starring Audrey Hepburn and William Holden, was initially intended to sizzle with romance and intrigue. However, Mother Nature had other plans, and the crew had to adapt to the less than ideal weather conditions. While the film's storyline may have been all about Paris sizzling, the reality on set was a bit more damp. This playful nickname serves as a reminder that filmmaking isn't always as glamorous as it appears on screen. Despite the weather-related challenges, Paris, When It Sizzles, managed to capture the charm of the City of Light, providing viewers with a taste of Parisian romance and humor. So, the next time you watch this classic 1964 film, remember that behind the scenes, the cast and crew were dealing with a Paris that was more drizzle than sizzle. In 1964, a movie titled Paris, When It Sizzles hit the silver screen. Audrey Hepburn, a renowned star, played a role in this film. Interestingly, the filming for Paris, When It Sizzles ended in November 1962, only 2 days before production began on Audrey Hepburn's next film, Charade, which was also set in Paris. Despite the fact that Audrey Hepburn called the making of Paris, When It Sizzles, a joy, it turns out this movie was her least favorite among those she made during her years as a star. Her son, Sean Hepburn Ferrer, noted in his memoir that it taught her a valuable lesson. Just because the film was easy to make doesn't mean it's going to be very good. Additionally, the movie has a unique historical footnote. Hubert de Givenchy received a screen credit for A Scent in Paris, When It Sizzles. He was credited for Audrey Hepburn's perfume, making it a notable moment in cinematic history. Paris, When It Sizzles may not have been Audrey Hepburn's favorite, but it certainly left a mark on the world of film with its intriguing production timeline and the inclusion of a perfume credit. As we reach the end of our cinematic journey through the allure of Paris, When It Sizzles, I encourage you to pause and consider the unique connection you forged with this timeless 1964 masterpiece. In the enchanting streets of Paris, where dreams and reality intertwine, where love and creativity coalesce, you've journeyed alongside our characters. Perhaps within Audrey Hepburn's enchanting charm or William Holden's witty charisma, you found echoes of your own desires and aspirations. Maybe the enchanting backdrop of Paris ignited your wanderlust, or the film's playful exploration of storytelling sparked your creative spirit. It's in these moments of connection and reflection that the magic of cinema truly shines. Now, I invite you to share your favorite memories, thoughts, or even the subtlest emotions that Paris, When It Sizzles, has stirred within you. How has this classic piece of filmmaking left its mark on your heart and imagination? Let your voice join the chorus of those who have been moved by this cinematic gem. Thank you for embarking on this cinematic adventure with us and for sharing your thoughts. Your presence and engagement make this journey all the more special. And remember, every story, every memory, and every connection all have their place in the rich tapestry of the cinematic world. Until our next celluloid escapade, be inspired by the timeless allure of Paris, When It Sizzles, and let the magic of storytelling continue to weave its spell in your life. Warm regards and heartfelt thanks for your time and interest.